because I'm going to be on a podcast, a very interesting podcast, so I'm excited.
Welcome to This Strange Life. I'm Mickey, the conduit between the motherfucking freaks and the geeks.
And I am Willie. What you see is what you get. That's all that I got.
And our third wheel, as usual, today is
James, the brown red band of Thailand.
Hello, James. And today, super excited. We've got a super cool vlogger, right? Called Riley. Riley, would you like to introduce yourself and just, I mean, who the hell are you?
Yeah, Riley from Bangkok. No. Yeah, I guess you could say I am that digital nomad kid that you saw once on YouTube. That's, yeah, that's me.
So what's your channel called?
Yeah, it's called Livin That Life, and I have been basically filming my life, vlogging, ever since I came out here to Southeast Asia 3.5 years ago.
Damn.
Right, okay. And I must just quickly say, actually, just give a little bit of a sort of sound warning for this podcast. We're basically in a bar, at the top of a bar in the right downtown central Bangkok. So if you hear a little bit of background noise, a little bit of music, there's a few people here, so don't freak out, people.
It's ambiance.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be
it's
okay.
ambiance. So, Riley, what we normally do is we ask people a couple of questions who come on, and it just lets us get to know you a little bit,
Sure.
Kind of feel you out a little bit.
Sure.
So, do you give us one belief that you hold that most people would find to be unpopular?
Yeah, I guess the belief that's kind of been the whole premise of my YouTube channel is it's not as crazy as it seems to live abroad and be working remotely. It's not as crazy as it seems to be a digital nomad. That's kind of been the thesis that I've realized ever since it was my dream to be a digital nomad. And then once you become one, you meet hundreds of other digital nomads. And you're like, oh, there's tons of people doing this.
Hallelujah, Riley. And this, I fucking love what you're saying there, man. Because most people are stuck in 9-to-5 jobs in the shitty little town that they grew up in, and they feel like there's no way out. There's fucking, what they have in their tiny little world is all they're going to ever have, and you are testament and you're proof of the fact that that is not true, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, I guess my quick story real quick for people that don't know me, like just a regular kid, grew up in Seattle, and after college, I just wanted to travel a bit. I never got to study abroad, and ended up visiting Thailand for 2 weeks shortly after I graduated college. And that was actually to visit Parker, who is my best friend all from growing up, and he actually was in Thailand for 2 months doing a study abroad program. So when he was on that, he used to call us back home. He's like, you guys got to come out to visit. You got to come out to visit. So that was the perfect excuse. Like I said.
What year was that, mate?
This was 2013.
Okay.
So 2013, long story short, I did 2 weeks in Thailand. It was my first time really out of the country other than like Cabo spring break, which is like doesn't even really count.
Yeah.
And me and Parker were like, that was too short. He was like, 2 months was too short. I was like, dude, 2 weeks, that was just a teaser. That was stupid. And so we're like, all right, let's try to come back and like get jobs and teach English for a year or something. Like do like a live abroad for a full year. And so we came back to Bellevue and we got a small little 1-bedroom apartment together, and I slept on the couch for a full year. It was the studio apartment, had the little sliding divider thing. I was sleeping on the couch. And one simple life hack, I call it, that changed my life was I didn't sign myself up for a cable TV package because I worked for Comcast. We got the internet-only bundle. Actually, not a bundle, just the a la carte.
A la carte.
We got the internet only a la carte, and we hooked up the Apple TV to the TV, and so we were just streaming YouTube. Didn't watch any TV, and so through that, we started watching videos on Thailand. Naturally, getting excited, and then we found some digital nomad channels. Basically, long story short, notably Johnny FD and Jabril, two guys that work online who travel a lot, based in Southeast Asia a lot, and we were like, oh my gosh, let's do that instead of teach English. Like, if they can do that, why not us? And so Johnny announced he was putting on a conference for digital nomads in Chiang Mai, Thailand, that was going to be happening October of 2014. So this was like early 2014. So we're like, all right, that's our goal. We're just going to put that on the calendar, and no matter what stage we're at, we're going to go to that conference.
You were like early 20s at this point?
Yeah, it's got to be 24.
Nice.
And so, yeah, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And so, yeah, we worked our jobs just to save up money.
And those jobs sucked at the time? Like you weren't killing it?
They sucked. Like I still didn't want to get a real job because I had this kind of travel dream, before I get a real job. So I was still doing what was my college summer job, which is door-to-door sales for Comcast. Yeah.
Talk about soul destroying.
Sounds fun.
It's I like everything. Fun at first, and then it gets old.
Yep.
So, I was doing that, but I was doing it year round for 2 years after college, and I was doing it like in the dark rain, and it was kind of depressing. And eventually you get so burned out, you're just like, ready for a change. And so Parker was in that same situation, just like ready for some change of environment. He was working in the hospitality industry for corporate, obviously. And so, we saved up money, saved up like close to 10 grand each, and flew out on a one-way to Chiang Mai and attended the what was called the Dropship Lifestyle, the initial one. Which is all
one
about
way. That's ballsy.
Yeah, you gotta do the wrong way. Yeah. So we saved up like 8 to 10 grand each, and we were like, all right, that'll give us hopefully 6 months in Chiang Mai. So it was like the 6-month do or die plan. Figure something out.
Love it.
Like we had some online stores up, drop shipping stores, or online retail stores, whatever you want to call it. And they weren't making money yet, but we still went out there just to see what we could figure out.
Right, Riley, sorry. Let's take a step back.
Please.
What's drop shipping?
It's basically having your own store, like Riley's Premium Podcast Products.com.
Yeah.
And you try to get traffic through that, through Google ads, Facebook ads, social media. And I basically list all these podcast equipment on my website. Of course, I don't have the inventory. But once the customer pays for it with their credit card, I take that money and then buy it wholesale or buy it for cheaper directly from the supplier.
Like Alibaba? Through Alibaba or something?
Yeah, either Alibaba or like a popular drop shipping niche is furniture, like the furniture supplier in America. So it's basically, being the middleman.
That's interesting. And this is... an important something you said is very important, that you don't have to have inventory. So that means that the whole kind of infrastructure behind your business is minimal, because you don't need anything. You don't need any money. You don't need any startup, really. You need to be able to build a website, right? And that's about it. Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of challenges though with that. And did you stick with drop shipping for a while?
Yeah, so that's the thing. There were challenges because with having your own. So now I sell on Amazon, but we'll get to that. I have an Amazon store. That's how I make my main income. But if you have your own store.com, you have to get people to find out about your store and to find it. So we were new to internet marketing, so we didn't get the traffic necessary to make the money, essentially, which is every business's problem, right?
And of course, it's uber competitive.
Yeah, you got to have a small niche. You got to be smart. You got to be a really savvy internet marketer. In my experience, I know people that are successful with these type of yourstore.com type of things, very niche stores, furniture or podcast equipment. Well, I'm sure someone is crushing it with the podcast equipment dropshipping store. I'm sure someone is. But in my experience, you have to have tricky traffic, which what I call it, a good way to get cheap targeted traffic through something like a podcast sponsorship. That's the stuff that works now. You can't just rely on Google ads, which what we were doing at first.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, at the conference, we met a kid who was younger than us, and he was crushing it, selling on Amazon only through their FBA program, which is Fulfillment by Amazon.
Lay that out like I'm 5 years old. What exactly does that mean?
Right. So Amazon.com actually has physical warehouses. So you send your inventory to Amazon.com, and it's already on Amazon.com. Amazon has everything in the back of that website. So when people go and they search for podcast equipment, they're going to see on the first page results, hopefully, Riley's podcast mic. They click buy, Amazon.com sends it to the customer. Everything's already on Amazon.com. I'm sleeping. I'm doing nothing. I'm in Bangkok chilling. So that's it. So
it's not affiliate marketing. You're not just driving people through your store and you're saying you can buy stuff on Amazon, but if you use my link, I get a little bit of kickback. It's different.
Is totally different.
It's different, right?
So I didn't clarify the method. That's one method to make money, with partnering with Amazon, I guess. For us, we do the wholesale private labeling method. So sticking with the podcast equipment example, we go to Alibaba.com, which is, for people that don't know, it's kind of like the wholesale buy direct from the factories in China website.
It's like eBay or Amazon, but for wholesalers.
Yeah,
right?
It looks similar to Amazon. It's a site where you go shopping, but you can buy in bulk for cheap. So I
was just about to say, sorry, man. Have you heard about those Alibaba villages in China?
Oh yeah.
No.
It's insane, man, isn't it?
We were in China. I can get to that later, but we went to visit our factory last year. But anyways, for whatever reason, we ended up choosing podcast mics as this example. So we went to Alibaba, searched podcast mics. I found one that I liked on page 50. And we started with a test order of 200 units. So we ordered 200 podcast mics for cheap, and we sent those 200 in a couple big boxes to Amazon.com. Amazon, when you start your seller account, they give you an address to send to. Chinese Alibaba supplier slaps the frickin' label on the boxes and ships them in the mail, and they arrive at Amazon.com. Amazon.com opens their door and they scan it. Bing, bing. Now they're on Amazon. People can find them on Amazon. It's simple as that. And so we have our own brand. We have our logo on the podcast mics. It's our own brand, our own packaging, and that's what's called private labeling or white labeling. Is you buy something generic and you just put your logo and kind of rebrand it, repackage it.
What's your brand then?
I don't talk about my brand on my YouTube channel,
right, okay.
Just because I am an Amazon influencer and most people don't, because they don't. I'm in the business of helping people start their own niche.
I understand.
So I don't want everyone to copy my niche
and
thinking that that's the only way to make money. So that's why most e-commerce bloggers don't talk about their niches. But podcast mic, it's a good example.
Yeah, you really ran with that one.
I'm going with it. So let's just call it, living that life podcast mics. And so, people search for podcast mics, and for our main keywords, we're on page 1, and 30 to 40 people order our thing per day, and we make, maybe $10 profit per unit. And that's been making us not a ton of money, but a few grand a month to keep me and Parker out in Southeast Asia. And we've just kind of been chilling and scaling slowly. And
so where's Parker today? What's he doing?
He is he's back in Onut, and they're making coffee. That's okay.
Sorry about this, guys.
Bear with us.
So we live at the same place, and I'm gonna see him tonight when we go to.
And you're still buddies, right?
Yeah, we grew up
This is
together
cool.
on the playground. We're very fortunate to have this situation. I realize that we're very lucky to have this set up.
Yeah, because a lot of people who grow up together, to still be friends after your sort of mid-20s is one thing, but then to travel together, that's another fucking big make or break situation with friends. But then to open a business with someone as well, that's like you're fucking testing your relationship there in multiple
that's
different
true. It's almost like
angles,
a marriage,
man. Yeah. And to say that you're still together, it's pretty cool, man. You must be You must be chill dudes, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're two of the chillest dudes that you know. Ask our friends. So us both being very chill is basically how it works out. So we're very lucky to have this situation. Like I don't know if I would have came out to Chiang Mai by myself. Probably not. Him too.
Yeah.
So I realized that we're really lucky.
So sometimes you need someone, don't you? Like,
Yeah.
Like I wanted to start a podcast and I didn't want to do it alone, so I called this motherfucker over here, Willie, and so we started it together. But where are you going tonight, man? Because I heard you say something about a rave, and I don't know if you know, but I'm like a house music producer and a DJ. And
I didn't know that. Well, this is not house
his name
music
is like
tonight.
Tiesto, I think, right?
Testicle.
we saw Tiesto in Saigon, Vietnam, which
Really?
was super dope. Yeah. In 2016, but tonight there's like Marshmello is in town, so we're going to that. It's
DJ.
just like a popular EDM music.
But is it trance or?
No, it's EDM dance music, popular EDM dance music.
Okay.
So yeah,
Right.
it's just a big old fun
So
party.
whereabouts is that then, man?
This is in Bangkok somewhere. I don't even know the venue. It's somewhere.
I'll find it.
Get down there. Just
Yeah.
Google Marshmallow and get your ass out tonight if you're in Bangkok.
Yes, sir.
Even
So,
though this
yeah.
podcast won't be out till after tonight.
Yeah. Jimmy, tell me about these fucking villages. These Alibaba
the
villages.
Alibaba villages. Well, it's part of the Alibaba effect. China is a fucking massive country, as you know, and the numbers are just staggering. When and I'm not just talking about Alibaba, I'm just talking about any facet of life in China. The numbers that are involved are just mind-blowing. So I think in order to qualify, and I'm sort of putting myself out here, at least over 50% of the village or the town needs to be involved in selling products online. So it's not just manufacturing, it's actually selling. So there's a few thousand of these hotspots.
But it's like a
around
whole
China.
supply chain, though. Manufacturer, sell.
No. I mean, it could be a mixture of people creating the manufacturing their own products and taking those products to market, the drop ship method, you name it.
I watched a really cool video the other day. It was talking about how intellectual property, like hardware, is open source there, and so there's all these makers, and like you hear Trump talk a lot about how like China steals American IP, but like they just have a totally different outlook. Like if you create like a circuit in America, you can patent that and it can be yours for 20 years. In China, it just like anybody can use that shit. So there's just people making like those hoverboards and shit like that.
So
yeah, I mean,
it's a village, like. I mean,
well, I mean, it's over 50% of a village of, I think it's over 1,000 people or something like that.
are directly involved in Alibaba.
Are directly involved in either, selling things B2C, or doing the B2B stuff and then, selling them on to, drop shippers or whatever. But it's this huge, it's part of this huge fucking Alibaba effect, man. It's like, it's insane, man.
So it's not like the those Apple
Foxconn.
factories, where people are throwing themselves off buildings.
No. This is very much sort of
entrepreneurial.
It's almost sort of, if you think back, a few hundred years, it's almost like cottage industries have sort of popped up. In the weirdest sort of places. So,
Right.
That's cool, man.
Fuck that. I'm not growing any asparagus anymore. I'm into mobile phone cases or something like that. You know what I mean? It's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
The cases. I have a vlog of this. You can see it on my channel. We went to this one electronics mall that's 23 stories high.
Jesus Christ.
It's called the video is called 23 Stories Electronics Mall in China, and every single story is the same exact shit. Phone cases, power banks, headphones. Yeah, and that's it. And 23 stories of this. There must have been like 1 billion phone cases in that building. It's ridiculous.
So who's going in there and shopping? Like, who's that for?
Me and Parker were walking through there, and God, it's a pretty popular vlog, I guess. We're probably the only two white dudes in the whole place, but there's a lot of wholesale buyers from other countries like the Middle East and Africa. That was probably what we noticed, a lot of Middle Eastern and African wholesale buyers. And, we had been to Africa and, we traveled a bit and we were like, whoa, these are where all the cases come from around the world. You know, like if you see a mobile phone shop, like you see all around in Bangkok, there's got 1 million phone cases. I know where those come from. You know, and of course it's not just this one mall, but just like dozens of those in Guangzhou and all around China. And so, yeah, whenever you see a mobile phone shop, and whether it was Kenya or
Guangzhou video. I didn't realize it was so fucking cool and like modern and cool lights and fucking skyscrapers.
Oh,
and shit.
yeah. Thanks for that one.
I want to go.
Yeah, it's super sick. I call it like a future city. It's like a brand new city. I call it like a rainbow city, like all of the skyscrapers and lights. It's super sick.
Those Chinese cities, like they gentrify them in like 15, 20, 25 years. They go from like 19th century to like the 22nd century. You know, it's insane how quickly they...
It is insane, man, isn't it? You know, that's
Have you been to China, Jim?
I've been to Taiwan, not to China.
Yeah, I've never been.
But that's one of the benefits of centralized planning, right?
Totally, yeah. Sorry you've been here for 50 years, but we're just going to bulldoze your house and we'll give you a spot over there, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, those horror stories from the Olympics, right? When they were building the Olympic stadiums and they just fucking bulldoze people's houses.
I don't think they got a lot
do
of...
that here in Bangkok, though, right?
Property rights, yeah.
Some of the, Jim, we were talking about this the other day with Cole, weren't we?
We were.
Some of the old bars and stuff down under the bridge at Plunchit, right?
Chewit. No,
Chewit.
Chewit. I think we were talking about specifically,
Yeah. Oh, no, that was with Greg, yeah. We were talking about Chewit, but there was some under the underpass.
Oh, yeah. Where Sexy Night used to be.
Yeah. And they just
very
fucking came in.
reputable establishment, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you can tell by the name.
It's actually
Sexy
really
Night.
a good place. Back in the day, it was right next to a railway line, and you frequently used to see a guy barbecuing rats behind it.
He's been in Bangkok since '93.
Do you know those little sort of clay charcoal pots where they put a mesh on top?
Yeah.
Well, he had his rat sort of strung out.
Yeah.
That he caught down the side of the bars.
Yeah.
And it's just there, you know, with his little ultra fresh, you know, no antibiotics in there,
but full of human shit.
But yeah, you know. But the thing is, a whole lot of expats used to go down there. There used to be lots of British Embassy guys, you know, the British Chamber of Commerce guys, you know, real cool guys used to go down there, just to this shanty little place.
And they just bulldozed it overnight, right?
Well, they didn't bulldoze it overnight, but, you know, they were, you know, they'd been there for a decade or so before that. But, yeah, you know, again...
Yeah, because the guy that owns Ep05, he had a bar there, right?
That was Sexy Night, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So it's Bob. He's a diamond dealer. In fact, they established he's second generation here. His father established, because Thailand's quite well known for authenticating gems. Yeah. So his father established a diamond authentication sort of factory.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one.
So yeah.
Okay. Right. Anyway. Excellent. So anyway, back to Riley. So
was good.
I loved all your story about coming over here and this. Yeah, we started, didn't we? At what's a belief you hold that's unpopular. So what would you say to people, mate, who are stuck in their hometown? They haven't really travelled much. They want to get out. They think there's no life for them. It's possible, isn't it? It is possible. There is a fucking way to do it if you just fucking get off your ass and do it, right? Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm not trying to say anything to anyone, but the people who find my channel are already going towards this path, and they discover me somewhere along the way, and they're like, oh wow, this kid's been doing it for this long, and he's just like acting like it's kind of no big deal. And he's just kind of just like chilling, and you know, he's having a lot of fun, and it doesn't look like he's working too hard. Obviously, they don't see me when I'm grinding away, slaving away in the tom-toms at 2 a.m.
Just slinging dick.
No, but that is one common question, real quick. And people ask, do you work harder now than your old job? No, definitely not. It's about working smarter, not harder, that entrepreneurs say, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't try to tell anyone anything. I'm just kind of sharing my life and showing what's possible. I'm not saying that you should travel or it's better than any other thing or the digital nomad is the best career. You know,
it definitely is better.
Have you ever had anybody come up to you and be like, yo, your videos are part of the reason that put me onto this digital nomad path? Or how often does that happen?
Yeah, that's happened. That's happened.
That's pretty sweet.
Crazy enough. It's fucking crazy, dude. Most notably at the last 2 Nomad summits. So in 2017, I was one of the speakers at it, and last year I was there, and oh god, like there's I asked to bring like all my subscribers up on stage, and it was probably like 20 so people, and
All
like
30,000 of them.
yeah, that would be cool. Hopefully next year, which is January 2019, we'll have more people. I kind of use the Nomad Summit in Chiang Mai as kind of just my annual.
So
if you want to come meet me, if you want to come meet freaking all the digital
cool,
nomads, come there. It's kind of like.
And this is the same conference that you set up.
Yeah,
that
basically,
brought
yeah.
you here, right?
Different name, but basically this by the
Fantastic.
same guy.
Same
by the
dude.
same guy.
So how's that grown? I mean, how's that sort of evolved over the years?
The conference,
Yeah.
or so it started off. I went to the Dropship Lifestyle Conference in 2014, and that was run by Anton Kraly, but it was also side promoted by Johnny FD, who's the popular blogger. Anton Kraly is the popular dropshipper. He has the dropship program. And Johnny FD, the year after that, spun off and started his own conference called the Nomad Summit. And the first one, I think, was maybe 2015. And so he's done that 2015, 2016, 2017, and now 2018. I think it was like, yeah, maybe the 4th one. And so, yeah, I try to go back every year to meet people. I've been to the past two ones. And, yeah, I always invite my subscribers to come out, and because, that I have to recommend it because that was my story. I'm not saying that, it's the only way for success is to go to a conference. I'm just saying my story is I went to a conference and I ended up figuring it out because of the people that I met there.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sharing my story. So if you want to try the same thing, you're welcome to.
And it's all about getting people to take that leap.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a massive jump, and it probably feels tough. So if you have, and I like what you did, like you give yourself money and you just got to figure it out. Because like,
yeah. I'm not saying like, people are like, Riley, why are you telling people they should quit their job? I'm not saying you should quit your job. Like, do whatever you want. But I'm just sharing my story. We did save our money before we quit our jobs before we were making money on the side.
Yeah.
And, everyone's life situation is different. We were lucky that we didn't have, girlfriends and kids and dogs and, house mortgages. And so we were just young and we didn't have anything. So that's what allowed us for it to be a relatively easy decision to.
That sounds pretty similar, man, to me. I mean, obviously, no conferences, no internet in those days, but, working a bum job, just having nothing to lose, basically, coming out, looking for a bit of adventure, looking for some life experiences and see what sticks, right?
But in your day, though, to be fair to you and kudos to you, there was no fucking internet.
Yeah.
You were relying on friends or what friends were telling you, right? And what you saw on the fucking TV or whatever. Hang on.
There was no cable TV.
How the fuck did you find out about shit? Did you have to go to the library? You literally had to go to the fucking library, right?
We live in a library.
What? Now? What?
We live in a library.
Now?
Back in the day.
Now?
Yeah.
The library is still outside.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying though. In 1993, when you're thinking about coming to Thailand and you're thinking, hang on, how can I look it up? You've got Lonely Planet. That's
Buy
what
a
you
book.
got. Right? You got a book,
Buy
right?
a book, yeah.
Shit, yeah. You go to the library.
You go to the
get
bookstore.
a fucking book. That is so archaic.
Sounds
You
crazy
Destiny
nowadays.
system
Sounds
on.
fucking crazy.
Okay, I've got you where you were going. I thought you meant when I actually got here.
No, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like how like you want to come on this adventure. It's like word of mouth, isn't it? And people
It
tell
is.
you, and then you've
It
got to
is.
go and find a book.
That's
and
exactly how it is.
nowadays, you kids, Riley, you've got it so easy. You don't.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
Part of it too, like being a digital nomad now, like you can still have relationships in the States in a lot of ways. You can interact with people. Like there's ways to feel not that far from home.
World's very small,
even though
right?
geographically, the world's much smaller.
Yeah, you can see what I'm doing my parents see what I'm doing every day on Instagram stories.
Yeah.
You know, so like I went home last summer and they're like, it kind of feels like, I've been with you this whole time.
Yeah, that's nice.
So it's kind of like a modern day postcard, isn't it? Instagram for your parents, I would guess.
I've never thought of it like that. That's a really good way to think about Instagram, isn't it? It's
I mean, in this situation, in this instance,
I think in every situation, you know, you're giving a quick snapshot of a picture and writing something underneath. It's just like a fucking postcards. Do people still send postcards?
That's crazy. No, but they still try to sell them in the stores.
Yeah, I might send someone. Do you know what I'm going to do?
Maps, yeah.
Send someone a postcard.
Yeah.
I wonder who. I'm going to send someone at home a postcard.
You know, I did do that for Christmas.
The living shit out of them.
I think people really appreciate it because it is so crazy to do it. That it's like,
I think I did that.
Yeah.
I think I did that 2 Christmases ago. I saw this really cool postcard, like handmade and like crazy, and I bought it, and it was chilling in my backpack for like a while, and then eventually made it into the mail and made it home. And
well done.
You just threw a massive dick on it and sent it.
Did it have a few of the corners ripped off?
Yeah, it was definitely crumpled a bit. Because I think that's what I did. I bought some postcards in Kenya when we were doing the Kenya trip. And by the time I found a post office, I think it was a bit crumpled.
So, Riley, how has like the nomadic part of Digital Nomad, like, are you still super excited to travel? Do you travel as much as you did when you started? What's kind of your like monthly game plan? I know you're in Thailand a lot, but
yeah, we've been we're usually in a place for a few months at a time.
Riley, can I just interject? Do you have a work permit?
No, tourist.
Okay.
Yeah, tourist visa.
So you have to go in and out.
So whoever's doing the sound editing, replace the no with yes.
As far as I know, I don't think it's illegal to be on vacation full time and be working
you can
remotely.
Run a business. If you can come here and run a business if you don't have a work permit, I think.
Of course. What if you're at your job and you're on vacation from your job and you come? I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's not
as long as you're on a tourist visa and you're renewing it, it's fine.
Yeah, we're on a tourist visa. We've been 100% on a tourist visa. When we first came out to the conference, we pre-applied for the 6-month thing. And then ever since then, we've just been just visa on arrival, and then you pay to extend it. But I guess over the last 3.5 years, we've done 18 months total in Chiang Mai, maybe about 6 to 8 months in Bangkok. We did 6 months in Saigon. We did 2 months in the Philippines. I recently did 1 month in Bali. We did 1 month in Kenya.
Damn.
We go home for 1 month in July every year. We did a couple-week Euro trip. We did a week in Colombia. I did a month in China. We did a week in Japan. It's pretty much like you're grinding in Chiang Mai or Bangkok for like 2 or 3 months at a time. And then we got to do the visa run, so we make a trip out of it.
Nice.
And so we're usually doing a trip, either a fun trip or just you move to Bali or you move to Vietnam, and or we do our annual like big round the world trip. So we've been traveling a lot. It's like total like 25 countries that we visited total, and so I'm super excited about it. Yeah, I'm still on a travel high. Like, I don't think you can ever get used to it.
Do you think there'll ever be a point where you're like, okay, I want to settle down now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so, because like I've met like older dudes who have been traveling for like 10 freaking or like their whole life.
Yeah.
And they're like still doing it and still pumped up.
If you can find a way.
So it's like, if you can find a way, obviously, and that's the whole battle, and what I want to help people do is find a way.
And also, why conform? You know, why do you need to sort of, make those sort of that new set of decisions that will sort of lead to something quite different, right?
Yeah, it's like why settle down? Like you would do that if you want to, but why do something that you have no interest in?
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
yeah.
I think you'll probably naturally grow and make different decisions as time goes, and maybe that'll be travel more or less, who knows? But I bet for you, I'd imagine like Chiang Mai and Bangkok at this point are pretty familiar to you, that like it's almost like like a home base in a way. you know?
Yeah. It's Chiang Mai and Bangkok are definitely our home base. Started with Chiang Mai, and then we went to Saigon as our second home base. We did 6 months there. You know, that was like a second home. So that's very dear to our hearts as well. And now, like, Bangkok is just, I don't know, the next logical progression. That a lot of location independent entrepreneurs base themselves in the beautiful city of Bangkok.
Location independent entrepreneur.
I know there's so many
like
good
that.
buzzwords around.
Lies. Lie. You're just a big lie.
Yeah.
Location independent entrepreneur.
It's just digital nomad is just so much easier to say than location independent entrepreneur.
I mean, that sounds really politically correct, doesn't it? It's like, what is it? Illegal immigrant versus undocumented migrant workers or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Whatever you want to put it, you know, travelpreneur or just someone who works from their job remotely who has the
cool,
travel
man.
bug.
Yeah.
And they
That's
just
cool.
like to live in other countries and cities.
I
yeah.
love that, man. The fact that you don't have to, in a lot of these modern, new sort of industries, that it's not location specific, and a lot of people just don't take advantage of that. And this, I don't know how much you know about me, but I basically spent 22 years working as in the construction industry as a designer, an architect designer, and more recently a construction manager. And I've just kind of got myself out of that in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Actually,
Congrats.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and I'm doing a bit of consultancy work, and then we've got this shit on the side, the podcast and the cryptocurrency stuff, and I
Yeah.
feel so like a massive weight has been lifted off my fucking shoulders.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I love it, and I'm so happy, and
Yeah.
I wake up every day not with that sense of dread, like I've got to go in this shitty office for 8 hours every day, and I've got to fucking talk to these people who I fucking hate, and I don't want to talk to them anyway, and I've got to earn a shit salary off these
Steady on some
fucking...
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Population problems. I tell you, man.
You sounded
That's
as though you were
crazy.
maybe 2 or 3 weeks away from a mass shooting there, mate. You know what I mean?
like
Thank fuck you left.
Mel Gibson in what's it, Falling Down?
No, it was Michael Douglas in
Michael
Falling
Douglas.
Down, yeah.
Yeah, fucking great movie.
It is.
But yeah, I was...
Yeah, you were nearly...
I was at my wit's end. I was at my
nearly
wit's
famous.
end, man.
Yeah, you got to be to make the change. You got to get to that point.
And I that's something you touched on as well earlier, Riley, that you said you had this job that you hated, door-to-door sales, and I think that's what people need to feel sometimes, this fucking soul-crushing anxiety that compresses them into like a single fucking neutron, and then bang, you explode back out and just like, no, I'm not gonna fucking take this anymore, and then a whole new set of shit. It's like a big bang, but for a personal big bang that a lot of people need to go through, and I don't think a lot of people are pushed far enough to the end of their tether to break out from this shit, man.
So do you guys think like non-traditional paths of work, career, and living your life are becoming less taboo, like digital nomad scene in 2013, 2014 versus now? It's way
because it's the old parents thing. You need to get yourself a proper job, you need to settle down, you need to get yourself a wife, and you need to do this, you need to go to university. I don't know, I'm 38 now. I don't know if the kids are still being told this by the parents.
Of course they are, because everybody's indoctrinated.
Yeah.
They're absolutely
I imagine so, yeah.
all on the same treadmill, brother.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's bullshit.
But you're fed that at such a young age that it's really powerful. It takes you a long time to be able to kind of think outside that box.
Yeah. I mean, I luckily forewent university, and I started working when I was 16, straight from school. Literally, I finished school in May or June, and I started college full time in September. And within 2 weeks of college, I saw a notice on the notice board that said it was for a job to come and work with us as a trainee architectural technologist, it's called, and you can come back to college 1 day a week. So I went and did that. So I was working from age 16 and like 3 months, and by the time most of my friends came out of university at 25, I'd had like 9 years experience, and I was out earning them and out fucking performing
Yeah.
massively.
I've got a unpopular opinion. Like college is a scam.
It is a fucking scam.
Yeah.
And he was on a vocational, workplace / education sort of environment. That's the best way, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was working and going to college 1 day a week, so I was by the time I finished college, I'd had 4 years experience, and I was fucking miles ahead
you're
of
out
everybody
earning
else.
them, and if you had been paying, you haven't got the debt as well. And
But-
that's why in the US, you've got guys like Mike Rowe.
Did you feel like a stigma against you, though, at the time? Like in America, a lot of times you feel kind of weird if all your friends go to university and you don't. Like there's definitely a stigma there.
I was just getting high.
Crazy.
But I think that's the kind of thing that's going to be changing soon. Like if you have kids, if you've lived sort of an alternative path, like maybe that indoctrination will be less strong with your kids, and that's part of the grassroots movement towards
It just takes a few
open-mindedness.
people like Riley and you, Mike, and me to sort of break out the mold, and then that sort of starts getting fed back into the system, as it were. And, little by little, it's sort of chinked away, and then all of a sudden, things have changed. They're not going to change quickly, without a doubt. But
largely life in general, not just the college thing, but depends on who your friends are. Who your friends are
who your
and
peers are.
who your peers are. And we tend to do, similar things to them. And so with now, we live in the YouTube age, the social media age. So you can be virtual friends with anyone, whether that's a surfer bum out in Bali or a digital nomad that lives in Chiang Mai. And so that's what's changing. That's why it's becoming more, accepted, or more people see these other people on YouTube or Instagram or social media, and they're living these other careers, other types of careers, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I've always wanted to do that. I just didn't know that was,
But
achievable.
do you think their parents are saying, we would prefer you be a lawyer or a doctor or... But,
baby boomers still, I think.
but in saying that, now we're having kids, aren't we? And I think things will change now for the better, right?
What did your parents say, Riley?
Yeah, and everyone's parents is their own story. It's like it depends on who your parents. Some parents are super strict. They want you to be a lawyer, and that's been their dream for you. Ever since you were little. It's like they have this vision for you to be a lawyer or a doctor or something successful, MD or something like that. So, we have to understandably, understand where our parents are coming from, because they've had these dreams for us ever since they're little, whatever it may be. And so some parents are more strict, and some parents, I'm lucky that I have accepting parents. And my mom came out and visited with Parker's mom. They came on a mom's trip last year, and it was great. So, luckily my parents are supportive of me chasing the career that I want and the dreams that I want. So, but not everyone's parents is supportive. But at the end of the day, it's a big issue, and I get like messages from like kids, like all the time, like my parents want me to do this, like they want me to go to college, but I know that I don't want to. What should I do? It's tough to be able to respectfully kind of say, I'm going to do my own thing. Because, like, do your parents legally own you after 18? No. Like, they can't do anything.
Sure.
But it's,
But a lot of kids feel guilty, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You remind me of, you two guys would probably know this guy. His parents, exactly as you said, sort of wanted him to pursue X, Y, or Z. And he said, well, I found this thing called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And they said, okay, if you can earn $1 million in Bitcoin
He was
in
like
12 months,
13 years
he's
old.
like 16 or 17 years
Oh.
old.
Yeah.
He did it. He
Sweet.
did the $1 million. you know the story,
I know
right?
exactly what you mean.
Then,
But I think he was
then
younger.
you don't need to go to college. That was the that was the deal,
I
right?
think he was 13 or something like that. And they said if by the time you're 16, 17, if you've earned $1 million, you don't need to go to college.
Oh, just
Yeah.
buy a couple Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So
Good.
He bought one Bitcoin.
There you go. Yeah.
maybe he's Satoshi. But no. So my question is sort of on the back of that, Riley. Do you think that that's a good sort of a good way for younger people to approach that discussion with their parents and almost sort of pitch this as as a, you know, the parents of the sort of the incubator
Yeah.
or the VC company, and they're sort of pitching this idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so, you know, this is what I want to do. This is why I want to do it.
Yeah.
Can we set some goals
Yeah.
together, you know?
Yeah, I'm
It's-
glad you brought that up. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And I've heard stories of kids do this. And this is actually kind of how I pitched it. So when me and Parker decided that we were going to Thailand, I actually wrote this whole blog post and framed it like a study abroad, and kind of made like a kind of a fake blog post by Dropship Lifestyle, and making it look more like it was kind of a university, and this is like an online marketing semester abroad.
So was this a blog post of you in the future?
This was
Or
actually,
this was
so I created a blog called livinthatlife.com.
Okay, all right.
I think shortly after my 2-week trip to Thailand, when I got the travel bug, and I like started getting into all these like lifestyle blogs and like 4-hour work week and like you know, like lifestyle businesses. I was like, oh my god, okay, that's totally me. And so yeah, I had livinthatlife.com before I was even, you know, living that life. But yeah, I framed it like a study abroad. Like I
Cool.
I
That's
think my
really
parents
smart,
like
man.
actually thought it was. And so I was like, yeah, me and Parker are going to do this program. It's an internet marketing program. It's going to be 6 months. You know, just kept it at 6 months, even though we were planning on staying longer, hopefully. So we were like, yeah, it's going to be 6 months. The internet marketing thing, like, you know, I'm in sales, but I think it would be great, you know, get into this whole digital marketing thing. And my parents like understood that. Why it's in Thailand, they may not like understand, but that's a great way to do it. Is
Yeah.
like if young kids, teenagers can, you know, learn how to create a full pitch deck business plan about the Bitcoin or
And
whatever.
pitch it to the parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This is great advice, Jim.
Yeah.
You touched on something great there. So this blog you wrote, Riley, you gave your parents. Your parents read that, right? And that kind of set out your path to them.
Yeah, I think I probably did show it to them, and I actually showed it to other members of the Dropship forum at the time, and one of my good buddies now, Evan Teague, I think showed it to his parents, and he's like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, Mom. I'm going to this. So like other people
Copied
used it
your
as well.
homework.
Yeah,
Cool, man.
That's cool, man. I love the fact that we can inspire younger people. I know it sounds a little bit gay or whatever, a little bit, you know. When I say gay, I don't mean in the homosexual sense. I mean in
Yeah.
a lame sense.
yeah, it's kind of cheesy. Like
It's a bit cheesy, yeah.
to
yeah,
inspire, but
it's cool, man.
It's necessary, isn't it?
It's not even inspiring, because people are like, oh, I want to inspire. It's not even inspiring. So the people that find my YouTube channel are already inspired. Like you're going to
100%.
be inspired by yourself. What I'm just showing is I'm not trying to inspire them. I'm just showing them real life.
He's doing his
once
thing.
you get past, once you get here, like in a couple years, this is your real life. So maybe it's a little bit of glimpse into their future, and that can connect the two, law of attraction or whatever. Yeah, people that find me, that follow me, they're already inspired. They're
I
already,
agree.
yeah.
I think that
So you're just cementing the.
Yeah, I'm cementing it.
Yeah. Sorry, Will.
I think that like with social media like that, there's so many negative use cases, and we hear so much about it. But YouTube and some of like the lifestyle stuff, and just how YouTube's been able to, and I've heard you talk about this, Riley. Like, you can find anything on YouTube. You can learn any skill. You can get deep into conspiracies. You can get deep into learning to play the guitar or like changing your tire. You can do anything, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like you touched on this earlier. You didn't get cable. You got an Apple TV instead, and you were watching a shitload of YouTube.
Yep,
Yeah.
that was it.
I'll tell you what, that works on 2 levels. The first, you're exposed to all this other shit that you wouldn't have been exposed to anyway. But the second level is that you're not being indoctrinated into the fucking
Yes.
news.
You don't
and
have
the
to watch
fucking-
Channel 4, Channel 5, or Channel 7, you know?
Yeah.
And kids nowadays, I could be wrong, but I don't think kids watch much TV anymore. I'm pretty sure. Like,
hope
I
not.
think they just
I
said
fucking hope not.
it's past. People,
Yeah.
kids watch more YouTube than TV. It's
It's a
official.
dying
Yeah.
Netflix. Yeah.
totally. Netflix, yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
but YouTube and like just the shit that kids are into these days is like, it's so much more experiential based. Like it's like Riley's channel. Like they see Riley's life and they're like, oh, that's an idea for me and how I could maybe live my life. And then you do that all over YouTube, you know, and you pick your spots and follow channels and like cultivate like a news funnel on YouTube. And it's badass.
It cultivates your freaking life. It's crazy. Yeah, YouTube
because,
is crazy.
Like you said, with like the importance of having your friends and community around you, you can almost do that virtually.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and they have Facebook groups, and that's why, we started our own Livin That Life Facebook group, like every entrepreneur does, and people like connect in there and like maybe even meet up in Chiang Mai.
Sure.
But yeah, the cool thing is you can have virtual friends now, and because I realize that not everyone has a best friend that's like on their exact same mindset and mission. Like me and Parker are like super lucky for that.
And if you're in a small town in fucking America or England somewhere, you might not have any there might not be any fucking cool people in your town.
True.
So you need people like you, Riley, and Facebook's like yours too.
Yeah, people write me all the time. They're like, I'm back home, but I have no one that gets it. Like people are like, Riley, no one around me gets it. And for example, this one guy, Eric from Canada, from like Montreal, whatever, he was that one guy, and he was like, it's so cold in here, I'm just watching on YouTube, it's so cold and no one gets it, it's like my dream. And so I ended up meeting him at the Nomad Summit in Chiang Mai this January in 2018, and he was hustling on his online stuff, and last week he had wasn't making money online within 4 months, which you should not expect anyway. We were lucky that we started to make, $1,000 or more online within 6 months. Like that's not typical, I would say. Definitely not. Like any business, it takes a little bit of luck. Luck and smarts, combine that, make your own luck. But, Eric had to go back home to Montreal, and he's like, but I'm going to be there next year for the 2019 summit, and I'll be further along. And yeah, like many people who go to the conference, probably over half, they're just there for a short trip, and then they go home. Then they're working on it on the side of their jobs, nights and weekends, like just like we started. And then if you want to try to take the full-time jump next year, you got to do it.
That's fucking cool, man. It's almost like you could turn it into a Burning Man of Chiang Mai, man.
Yeah, there is a hippie festival a bit outside of Chiang Mai.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called the Jai Tep. Yeah, Jai Tep Festival. Some hippie. They're doing some hippie shit.
Have you been?
No, I haven't been.
I bet there's mushrooms there.
There's tons of stuff.
Have you guys been to Pi?
No.
You haven't? It's pretty famous for like weed and I don't know, psychedelics
Shrooms.
in general. Yeah.
How about that be a segue into, because I was kind of liking the segue we're going into how YouTube can take you down different journeys.
Yeah.
And so one of those journeys, people, so I'm a YouTube made guy, and now I'm on the screen, which is crazy. My life, YouTube has changed my life in two ways. It's showed me my new career, but now I'm able to give back through the screen, and give back to the world through that, which has been crazy. But another thing, ever since I started heavily watching YouTube, actually my sophomore year in college, for whatever reason, I started going down wormholes and getting red pilled, as they say, on various topics, including the Federal Reserve, and just, watching these history videos and getting your mind blown about the Federal Reserve is just a classic example.
Zeitgeist. Did you watch Zeitgeist?
Yeah, I watched Zeitgeist.
Movie.
I watched Zeitgeist by that guy.
Great.
And I watched all of his Zeitgeist stuff, and I was just getting my mind blown because, I'm a natural curious.
Peter Joseph is a motherfucker.
Peter Joseph.
That's this guy, Peter Joseph. So I remember watching that guy's videos, and that was early on in my YouTube journey. And so, that was 6-8 years later. And so now I like to say I'm pretty well read through YouTube.
Yeah, man.
Well said. Yeah.
Yes. And
But I think we have to warn people as well, Riley, that you can get yourself into a bit of an echo chamber on YouTube if you're not careful. And you can just surround yourself with people who have exactly the same opinion as you. So I think we'd all agree here that it's worthwhile sometimes listening to someone who holds an opinion that's not exactly the same as yours, just to listen to the other side. And see if you're not in a fucking confirmation loop, confirmation bias.
I like
loop.
you guys were saying this on the conspiracy episode, and for I don't know how deep we'll go here, but for people You can listen to their episode 3. I'll say
Episode 3.
Episode 3 is a
Good
great
shout out, bro.
conspiracy dive.
Thanks, Riley. Glad you
Yeah,
listened,
no,
man.
it was great. I was loving it. Yeah, I tagged you guys on Instagram. I'll try it at least.
Throats getting gay, man.
I was listening to it and like bragging on Instagram that I'm gonna be on the podcast tomorrow.
I saw that.
Cool.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
But anyway, so yeah, YouTube is crazy. It is what you make it. YouTube is a universe. You can be on YouTube and you can be watching like TV shows. Like you can be watching ABC. You can be watching Channel 4 News on YouTube. You can go any different way on YouTube. It can be totally unproductive or it can be totally great. It's like a library or whatever.
I do wonder how those algorithms work. That gives you the suggestions on the right hand side. It's not always like you sometimes go like far down a rabbit hole of watching fucking people getting eaten by animals.
Exactly. Sometimes if you watch too many little like cat videos or whatever, YouTube is gonna start thinking, oh, this is what you're into now. We're gonna keep giving you more, and it's a feedback loop. So you always gotta, you can make your way out of those wormholes.
Yeah.
But anyways, so this is interesting because I've always wanted to do more of this, what I call very important issues.
Yeah.
I want to use my YouTube channel eventually to talk about the very important issues of our time and use my YouTube channel for good. Like some entrepreneurs say that, their mission in life is to increase the net happiness of the world as much as possible. And
it's cool that you think like that, man. So have you got a plan in mind? I mean, are you just trying to open people's eyes, you mean, to the truth?
I want to open people's minds to these deeper truth issues of our time, because we live in such crazy times, as you guys know. And we live as we're barreling into this technological age, we need to make sure, basically, in one sentence, that the internet and technology ends up over the next 100 years and forever. We need to make sure it ends up for good and not for bad.
Yeah.
And so we live in this very, very crucial time. We're right in the middle of it.
Agree.
And we need to have this conversation go mainstream.
Your money. All I do is smoke, smoke, and fuck. Smoke. All I do is smoke, smoke, and fuck. And rap. If you guys look at me now, bitch, smoke, and fuck, and skate, and smoke.